Welcome to the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures, and I'm your host, Haikaloo. And I would like to welcome you to my new channel that I have. It's called Our Living Planet, and that's a new channel that I created, and it's all about trees. And I'm going to be covering different species of trees. And the first ones I'm going to be covering are pine trees in the south. So what I'll be covering in my new series on my channel, Our Living Planet, are pine trees. And that's the first species of trees that I'll be covering. And, we'll talk about how they die, the life expectancy of trees, what are the causes of why trees die, by disease, by insects, the different ways that trees, die. And I'm studying trees. So this is my first introduction video into my new series on my new uh, channel on Facebook. It's called Our Living Planet. So I will be studying trees, going out into the woods and looking at different type of trees and how they died, or in the process of dying, or what, trying to find solutions. I'll be looking to finding solutions of how we could, help these trees, especially when they're infested with insects. How could we prevent insects from getting into these trees? There's got to be a way, because every question has an answer. And I'm going to be studying different approaches into helping the trees before it's too late. And this this happens to be a root system of a dead pine tree that was eaten away. I can't say eaten away, but bored by carpenter ants, so they can colonize in this tree. Now, the question is, at what stage did they burrow into this wood after the tree died? Maybe it was infected by termites, and eventually, or could have been the southern pine beetle that could have infected the tree and killed it. And then, it is a process. In other words, that when certain insects, you know, work their way into a tree, it must have been from another insect first. Yes, there has to be some insects invading a tree and killing it, and that just leaves the door open for other insects to work their way into the tree also. So, there's always has to be, or maybe at the same time, it could be multiple insects actually killing a tree at the same time. So, these are different possibilities of how trees uh, are being invaded by insects. Maybe could be one species that opens the door for other species of insects to begin ravaging and killing the tree. But these are questions to be answered, and through my series, I will be explaining different type of diseases, causes for the demise of trees. So stay with me as I explore the possibilities and look into reasons why these beautiful pine trees are dying. So join me on my new channel, Our Living Planet, on Facebook.com. This is Haikaloo from the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures. Thank you. Welcome to the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures with your host, Haikaloo. Now, folks, I want to show you something here. This is a piece of wood, which is part of the root system of a tree that I gathered. Okay, and I want to show this to you so you can see this clearly. Okay, and what you're looking at is a piece of wood that has been ravaged by carpenter ants. Now, what I want to explain to you, what you're looking at here, if you see, this is where they burrow. What you see here is the wood that they ate through. Now, what I mean by ate, you can say bored holes through for the nest. So here's a couple of carpenter ant facts I'm going to explain to you. Okay, carpenter ant facts are one of nature's most aggressive wood destroyers. And this is proof that I'm showing you on this video, that a segment that I collected from a dead tree, I cut into it just to show, to educate people the destructive power of carpenter ants. And I have a small video following this to show you the destruction of carpenter ants in the tree. Okay, what they're saying there, carpenter ants are similar to termites. Carpenter ants damage wood, unlike termites, however. Now, I'm going to go back. Now, what they're saying here, carpenter ants are one of nature's most aggressive wood destroyers. They're similar to termites. Carpenter ants damage wood. Unlike termites, however, carpenter ants do not eat wood. So that's a fact. Carpenter ants do not eat wood for food, but instead carpenter ants only bore into wood to establish or to enlarge their nest. So when they say bore, they mean digging in, whatever teeth they got, however you want to call it. This is right here is the damage done by carpenter ants, and this is a piece of wood that I collected. Clearly, folks, the destruction that carpenter ants have on trees. They kill them. They literally kill them once they bore into that wood. But the only thing that I'm thinking now is as far as the tree's defense mechanisms, there has to be a species of insects that invade the tree, that actually cuts through its defense system, that allows other insects to come in and also feed on the tree and eventually destroy and kill it. But carpenter ants, they're like termites, but they don't eat wood like termites do. But they do bore into the wood. That's for their colony and to enlarge their nest. So this is something that is very destructive to trees, besides the southern pine beetle that's one of the worst enemies to the pine trees out in the south, folks. And this is just a brief short little video. This is just a short little video that I'm sharing with you, and this is going to be followed by me being out there in the woods showing you a colony of carpenter ants ravaging a dead pine tree, and they're all over the place. Yes, folks, and this is just a short video that I just want to share with you about carpenter ants, and it's titled Carpenter Ant Facts. So that's a fact. They're like termites, but they don't eat wood for food, but they do bore in and make holes just like you see here. Okay, and I have a video following this short segment of me being out there and looking at a dead pine tree that I was studying, and trying to educate the people of the importance of trees and finding ways how we could protect the trees. Now, there are many insects, all species of insects that live in harmony with trees, because trees is a sanctuary. It's like an ecosystem in itself. The tree has insects that live, helps the tree in certain ways, just like the tree helps the insects. But then you have insects that kills trees, and there's got to be a way of trying to help these trees from being ravaged the way they are by certain insects. So folks, I'm going to leave it at that, and I will be following a video shortly right after this one, and you're going to see me out there in the woods showing you a dead pine tree being ravaged by carpenter ants, as well as the southern pine beetle and also termites. So I'll be right back, folks. Thank you. This is Hiker for the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures. Thank you. Welcome to the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures with your host, Hiker Lou. And let me show you something now. I want to show you a tree. This is a pine tree. You can see by the bark. It's dead. And I believe this tree has been infested by I believe this tree has been infested by an insect called the southern pine beetle. And I believe that marking right there is evidence of that beetle infestation. You have another part there. This tree is about to collapse. You can see it's been eaten by termites down here. It seems like once a tree gets infected or invaded by certain species of insects, that just opens the door for other insects to follow because the tree defenses are weakened. And this tree doesn't have much time before it collapses. It's totally rotted down here. And you can see evidence of those holes. And that's what's called the southern pine beetle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut into the side of this tree just to see what I'm just going to chop this a little bit into this and see how solid this tree is. I want to give you an idea of the infestation, and that definitely you could see that wood is totally rotted out, eaten by termites. Look at that, folks. That's just to show you how dead this tree is. It's a sad thing. Down here toward the bark pulling out. And you can see there's a colony of red ants right there. I just disturbed their nest, but that's red ants right there, folks. And I'm not going to disturb them anymore. But you can see the way they burrow, the holes. I'm not sure if these red ants dig holes in the tree like this. I'm not sure. You see that colony of red ants right there, folks. Okay. And that's what this tree becomes, a home to multiple species of insects. The question you have to ask yourself in a lifespan of a tree, how many insects does it give a home to that are healthy for the ecosystem and healthy for the tree? So it goes both ways. The tree could give shelter, give a refuge for a lot of insects, and in turn they give back to the tree anything they may produce in the tree while living in there, or their droppings, anything that may come as a result from their droppings that hits the soil, that sterilizes and fertilizes the soil around the tree. So everything has a purpose, and trees live in harmony with insects. But then there are invasive insects, insects that don't belong, they're not native, and cause a lot of destruction to the tree. For example, the southern pine beetle. And here's more evidence of those holes. Now I'm trying to figure out if these holes were made by the red ants or the beetles. But like I said, once that ecosystem starts to collapse, everything, it just goes down with the tree. The tree goes down with. Okay, there's nothing here this tree could yield as far as wood. If that wood is just dead. Cutting into deeper into the bark, but look at that. This tree is corroded, totally corroded out. And that's a home for red ants. You can see that. That's their home, and they ate that out from I believe through the root coming up. I don't know if these red ants dig their way down in the soil around the tree where the roots are and work their way up. I don't know. But that's the story with this tree. Okay, so now we have another piece of pine tree here. This is the root system. I have to be careful with snakes since my last encounter. And I have a pine tree here. And I have a branch right here that I want to... Don't think that has anything, but we're going to look at it. Take a look and pull this here. Seems really hollow, but I could cut in just to see. Okay, I'll be right with you. Right back. Welcome to the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures, folks. I want to show something to you. These nice little baby ants. There's a small breed of ants. They're not huge. And I cut into this wood and they're running with the eggs, if you can see that. And they're taking the eggs somewhere. That was a nest. I'm trying to figure out what eats into this wood? I have to learn about it a little more. If ants are, responsible for a lot of trees to die, and I'm sure that termites, they're definitely responsible, and some kind of beetles that I was reading about that are not native to Georgia, I believe. Ew. You'll see them with the eggs from their little nest in there. Okay, I'll be right back with you in 1 minute. So I want to share with you, I believe these are termites, and it's what killed the tree. Look at that, those bugs. I don't know if they're beetles or termites. If anyone knows what they are, let me know. I want to see there's another one. There's a whole bunch of them. And I'm going to cut this piece out and throw it away right into the garbage. Don't have to worry about contaminating anything. I just want to share this with you. Look at that. They're going right inside that hole. Well, they're getting evicted right now anyway. Okay, just wanted to share this with you. This is Hikaloo from the Outdoor Wilderness Wildlife Adventures, and I'll be with you shortly.